Hello, welcome back to LK Tuition. My name's Lucas and today we're going to be looking at changing the subject of a formula. Hope you're feeling good and let's get cracking. So, what is the subject of a formula? So something is the subject of a formula if it's written on its own on one side of the equation and the rest of it is written on the other side. So for example, in the formula F equals ma, which is a physics formula, force is mass times acceleration, F is the subject of the formula because F equals the rest of the formula. If we wanted one of the other letters to be the subject, we would have to rearrange the formula. So M is not the subject and A is not the subject, but we could make them the subject by changing things around. How do we do that? So let's say we want to make M the subject of the formula F equals ma. Well, what we want to do is think about solving it. So imagine that these are numbers and we just want to solve for M. So you do all the things that you would normally do to solve an equation. So here, because we've got M is being multiplied by A, we want to divide by A on both sides. So you end up with M equals F divided by A, and now M is the subject. Okay, so what we're doing, just to reiterate, we want to look, whatever letter is, make that the subject. You think about that letter and you just solve it. So if it's being times by something, you divide by that thing on the other side. If it's being added by something, you minus it on the other side. And then eventually you'll get it on its own and then it will be the subject. Okay, so here's a few starters to have a go at. We want to make A the subject of all of these formulas. So if you want to have a go, feel free to pause the video and try, but otherwise we shall do them together. Okay, so the first one, we've got G equals A plus 3. Now we want A to be the subject, and at the minute it's being added by 3. So we want to minus 3 on both sides. So let's just write that in there. So A is going to be G minus 3, and that's our answer, and A is the subject. The next one then, we've got 5A equals 2t. Well, this time A is being times by 5. So we want to divide by 5. So A is equal to 2t over 5. And then number 3, we've got A minus 7y equals 9b plus 4c. Well, here A is just being minused by 7y. So we want to add 7y to both sides. So we're going to end up with A equals 9b plus 4c plus 7y. Okay, and then the last one, we've got A divided by 4 is equal to 3t minus 9. Well, if it's been divided by 4, we want to times 4. And so we're going to end up with A equals 4. Now this 4 times is everything, so we can even open our brackets up. 3t minus 9. And that is A as the subject of the formula. Okay, so let's look at a few more interesting ones now. So now we want to make B the subject of the below formulas. Okay, so this first one then, we've got 3b minus 9 is I. So the first thing we want to do is add 9 to both sides. So I'm actually going to swap them as well. So I'm going to put, so before I do anything, let's just write 3b minus 9 equals I. So there I've not done anything apart from just put them on different sides so that we've got our letter on the left, which a lot of people prefer. So let's add the 9 to both sides. So that will leave us with 3b equals I plus 9. And then from there we just want to divide both sides by 3 and we'll end up with b equals I plus 9 over 3. Okay, next one. So J equals U over B. Now we want B to be the subject. Now the problem at the minute is B is kind of like buried under this fraction. So because it's U divided by B, we want to get B out of the fraction by multiplying by B on both sides. So we're just kind of getting it out from being buried under there. So if we times by B on the left, we're going to get JB equals, and on the right we're going to get u. And then from there, we want b on its own, so let's just divide both sides by j. So we're going to end up with b equals u over j. All right, next one. Now I've got k equals b over 5 minus 2. So let's add 2 to start with on both sides. So we're going to end up with k plus 2 equals b over 5. And then we want to times both sides by 5. So we end up with b equals 5 brackets k plus 2. Great. And then the last one then, we've got L equals y plus b cubed. So let's take away the y first of all. So we end up with b cubed equals L take away y. And then so b is just going to be, the opposite of cubed is cube root. So it's going to be the cube root of L minus y. And that's our answer. Okay, so let's finish off with a worded example. So we've got that the circumference of a circle is given by the formula c equals 2 pi r. So if we've got a circle, this is the centre, this is the radius, and the radius is r. So the circumference is 2 pi times r. Now we want to make the radius the subject of the formula. So we've got c equals 2 pi r. Well, we want r on its own, so let's just divide both sides by 2 pi. And so you're going to get that r is c divided by 2 pi, and that's it. Okay, so just a bit of a worded one for you there. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. That was changing the subject of a formula. I will be doing videos with more complicated versions for the higher tier at another time. But for now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for some more maths videos.